Good evening, stamping friends. I'm Dorene Decibus from It Begins with Ink and Paper, and welcome to the 12 Days of Halloween. I'm so excited to have you join me on this lovely little journey celebrating Halloween. It is definitely one of my favorite holidays because it's a holiday I can just let loose and have some fun. And be playful, and that's what I love about Halloween. So let me know in the comments if you like Halloween as well. So this month, well, for the next 12 days, as I said, I'm going to be in my intro video a little while back. I said that I was going to be making a project each day for 12 days using the Playful Ghosts and the Halloween Memories kit. And so this is the Playful Ghost set. It just has 3 really playful little ghosts all dressed up or popping out of a pumpkin. We've got our vampire here, and we have our little witch there. We've got a set of pumpkins here, a cloud, a cute little bat with stars around it, and then 3 sentiments: boo, happy Halloween, and trick or treat. And the Memories and More kit has paper and stickers and photo backings. So it has some beautiful 12 by 12 sheets with some designs on them. I am going to be using one of these 2 to create a home decor item, a wall sampler. Then it has different types of designer series paper. Just turn them so you can see the different patterns. You'll notice that some of the patterns I have more of right now than others because I have been making all of the different projects. So here are the different patterns of the designer series paper. And then it has some 2-tone cardstock. You get 2 pieces of each in the kit. This is the pumpkin pie, the Granny Apple Green, the Gorgeous Grape, the Pool Party, and then this is all of the black and gray 2-tone that I have because I've just used so much of it. It has some basic white cardstock. It has a set of stickers on it, and then that's just another piece of the 2-tone cardstock. So these are the only 2 things. I might use some dies or punches to cut out some shapes or to cut out some, what did I want to say? To cut out some sentiment labels. But otherwise, this is all I'm going to be using. I do want to just point out that if you are a scrapbooker, it's not something I've ever really been into. But if you are a scrapbook person, it does have layouts that you can make with this kit with colored pictures to show you the different layouts. And it has all of the directions to make the layouts. So if you are someone who wants to scrap your memories of this Halloween, this is a great kit to get. All right, so a little bit more about the stamp set. Just put that out of the way. This is a cling stamp set. So what that means, I have almost everything mounted, but this one is that your stamps come in a sheet of rubber that you pop out. You don't need, some people keep this to store their stamps in, and they just put them back in. I don't do that, but I do use the sticker sheet to store my stamps when I'm not using them. So on the back of the stamp, there is a label to take off, and you've got your sticky foam here. I mean, it doesn't stick to your fingers, but it is going to stick to the label. And what you do here is the labels are all cut in half, so they're easy to peel off. And then you take your stamp and you just lay it on top of the label, like that. And then when you pick it up to use it, you've got the backing so that you can see what the stamp is. And then because it's sticky, you can put it right back on this sheet to store them in your stamp set. So just a little hint for how you put those cling stamps together. All right, so tonight's project is going to just be a fun fold card. Since I wasn't here last night to do a fun fold card with you, and I want to thank you for all the well wishes. I did fall in my classroom, and a fall is not something you really want to do when you have a bad back and you're still recovering from surgery. And I thought I was okay. I fell on Wednesday, and Thursday I was in a little more pain, and yesterday the pain got to the point that it was excruciating. So I called my doctor. Of course, they had no opening, so I went to urgent care, was there for 4 hours before I was actually seen. And of course, they really couldn't do anything for me because they didn't know, where I stood with my injuries and my back issues. So he did put me on light duty at work until I can see my surgeon on Wednesday. And he also gave me a non-opioid muscle relaxant. So that did help me sleep last night. I'm in less pain today, so I'm doing pretty well. So thank you. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Angela. So we're going to make a double Z fold card tonight with this set. So cute. I really like it. So let's get started. Like I said, I'm using everything in the kit. So the white cardstock is actually the photo backings that you use in the kit. So you are going to need two 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 pieces. This is the two-tone pumpkin. I think you can see when I turn it over that it's 2 different shades of pumpkin pie. I hope you can see that in the video. Yeah, I think you can. And this is 3 by 3 inches. You need 4 pieces of designer series paper. So this is the Potion and Spells piles of books. And on the other side, it has pumpkin pie and lighter pumpkin pie dots on it. And these measure 1.5 by 5 1/4. I used another photo back. This is the 4 by 6, but I cut it down to 3 3/4 by 4 by 5. 3 3/4 by 5. I'm using 2 pieces of the double tone. I'll put it down like that so you can see it. The two-tone basic black cardstock. This cardstock is not as heavy duty. It's a different weight from our regular cardstock. So it's okay for this card because there's so many layers. It's still a pretty sturdy card. But it's meant for scrapbook pages, but it can be used for cards. Just put some extra layers on it so that you've got some stiffness to it. This piece measures, let me just remember, 3 1/4 by 6 1/2. We're going to score that. And this piece measures 11 inches by, I believe, 5 1/2. Yes, 5 1/2. And we're going to be doing some scoring on that as well. So let's get out my score tool and we will get started for this card. I don't know how many of you love Halloween like I do. I love all the holidays, and I get to have, I think, more fun with my students on Halloween than other holidays. Valentine's Day is kind of fun too, but Halloween they get to dress up in their costume, and I get to dress up in a costume, and we just have so much fun. So I'm going to start by scoring this at 1 3/4. And remember, I will put all of this in the comments, so you don't have to write any of this down. I'm going to also score it at 3 1/2, and I'm going to score it at 5 1/4, and then I'm going to score it at 7 inches. So there is that. And then I'm scoring my other piece. Let me just grab it. This one is going to be scored at 3 1/4, so it's just going to be scored in half. All right, that is all the scoring we need to do for this card. Z-folds are quick and easy. That's one of the things I really like about them. So I'm going to start by finding my I had it out here. Here it is. My bone folder, and I'm going to give this a nice burnished edge. And then I am going to do the same thing for this. And so this card is just going to be accordion folded. So I'm going to start by folding it. Nope, I scored it the wrong way. It's going to be scored this way first. Sorry. Then it's still going to be scored accordion fold. So I'm going to just fold that accordion fold and then burnish it. Fold it again. And I will burnish that as well. And then I will score it again. I mean, not score, but fold, excuse me. And this is what the front of our card looks like. All right, so let's do some stamping and then some decorations. So I'm going to start on my piece of 4x6 that I cut down. If this is the photo frame, and I cut it down to 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And in the center of the card, I don't know if I showed you the center of the card, I did stamping on each panel. So we're going to put the boo using Tuxedo Black Memento ink. So I'm going to stamp that up, and I'm going to stamp the boo right in the middle of the card. And then I am going to take those cute little bats, and I am going to just stamp around my boo. And then I'm going to be stamping in both corners so that that can be seen from when the card is closed. Now, this is a Halloween card. I usually, like with my Christmas cards, I might write more of a message. With my Halloween cards, I make them mainly for children. And so I am usually just writing their name at the top and my name at the bottom. So I don't worry about having a ton of room to be able to write a message. So I'm going to layer that in. That's all set. Now we're going to stamp our 2 pieces here. And I have another photo sheet here that I'm going to stamp my pumpkin with the ghost jumping out of it. So let's stamp that. Now, the one thing I learned from stamping and coloring on this, your blends do, what do I want to say? The blends do really spread in on this. So if you're using this instead of basic white cardstock, you're probably going to want to really be careful with your blends and not go down real heavy. Hi, Rosalind, and hi, Lynn. Thanks for joining me tonight. And I'm going to stamp my Happy Halloween up here. It's a little crooked. That's okay. And I'm going to stamp on this one my Trick or Treat. So I'm using all 3 sentiments on this card. I'm not going to stamp my bats yet until I know where everything's going to go, but I can stamp my bats on this one here before I start coloring. There we go. Got a little black piece there, but I think I can fix that up with something. Okay, so let me just close this ink pad so I don't get any other ink anywhere. And I am going to color in this little guy here, at least the pumpkins. So I'm going to use Granny Apple Green. I'm going to use the light color for the stem. I'm going to use the light pumpkin pie in a couple places. I'm going to use it on where I can see the inside of the pumpkin. I'm going to use it on the ghost's tongue And I can see some inside right here as well. I am going to use the dark daffodil on the smile and on the eyes, so it will look like we've got a candle in there. And now I'm going to color the rest of the pumpkin. So I'm going to start with my dark pumpkin pie, put that on the lines of the pumpkin, and then I'm going to blend over it the light pumpkin pie. That way I get not as dark as the dark pumpkin pie, but also not as light as the light pumpkin pie. I get a nice medium. So I'm going to, on the outer edge of the pumpkins, I'm going to just trace over the stamped line, but I'm actually going to trace it on the inside so I don't have any of that on the outside. Because as I said, I found that on this, not as, it's just not as thick or heavy as regular basic white cardstock. So now I'm just going to start blending. I'm going to start at the top, and I'm just going to try to get this pretty wet so that dark pumpkin pie is going to blend in and just give me a little dimension there. I'm going to be careful around those eyes. Now this stamp set we're using is a standalone stamp set, so it doesn't have any dies with it. So if you want something cut out, you've got to do it by hand, which I'm going to do. But they're also pretty easy images to cut out. Okay, so that one is all colored in. Just show it to you. So cute. I'm going to set that aside, and the magic of television, I will save that one for another card, and here it is all cut out. Like I said, I had some of the ink kind of spill out from the outside of my lines, so when I cut the pumpkin, I cut pretty close to the dark line. I didn't have to worry about that when I was cutting out the ghost, but that's what that looks like. So I'm just going to put that over with the card. And now I need to color in my two little pumpkins that are sitting side by side. So again, I'm going to start with the light granny apple green and color in the leaf. And then I'm going to use the dark granny apple green to color in the stem. There we go. I'm going to get my dark paper, I keep wanting to call it paper pumpkin, my dark pumpkin pie blend, and I'm going to trace over those lines, being very similar to what I did on the first pumpkin. And I'm going to take my pumpkin pie ink, pumpkin pie light. I do like using the blends because it makes me just feel like I'm more of an artist, because I do not have any training in art, but the rubber stamps do it for me. So this is what it looks like. And I don't know if you can see on my mat, the coloring it in went right through the paper, and onto my mat. So I'm just going to wipe that up so we don't get it on everything else. Okay, so I'm just going to put this down so I know where I want it to be. And I'm going to go back to my black ink pad, and I am going to stamp my bats. This will help me know where everything is going to go. There we go. Okay, set that aside again, and I'm going to get my 2 pieces of pumpkin pie two-tone cardstock, and I am going to be putting these 2 things on it. So let's grab my adhesive. I wanted to try all these pieces and see how they work, because that was one of the things I said I was going to do, that I was going to use this kit and the stamp set to make all my Halloween projects. And so that's why I'm using the corner, the photo papers that will hold the spot. They're like, or you could even layer your photos on it. Okay, those are there. Now we need to put in our designer series paper. So I'm just going to open this up, set these aside. They're going to go on our middle piece, and I'm going to grab these pieces. And I'm just going to add them using the Stampin' Seal. It's our first one. I do love black and orange and black and, you know, a good green. They're just such, and purple too. They're such great Halloween colors. I don't live in the town where my students live, so that's the one sad thing. I used to live right down from the elementary school, and we had such a crowd come every year. You couldn't even believe all the candy that we used to. I had this big like metal wash tub that was painted orange like a pumpkin, and it had a pumpkin face, and I would have that overflowing with candy, and I would run out before trick-or-treating was even over. So there's the front of our card. So now let's put these pieces on the part that's going to be part of our Z fold. Now you want to make sure you're putting this so that it opens up in the wrong direction, because we're going to be putting this on the card like this. So you just want to make sure that you are not putting them on the way we would do a normal fold. So I'm just going to put some adhesive on the back of this and place this one on this side for the front, and then this piece is going to go on the back. All right, so to put this together, I want to make sure that this is lined up evenly between the bats. And so what I'm going to do is add some adhesive to both of the inside pieces. I'm just going to put 2 rows in. That should hold it fine. And then I am going to start with this side here. That's going to be my front. And I'm going to line that up. And then I can just close it on the inside. And now the only thing I have left to do is put this pumpkin and then some bling on. So the pumpkin's going to go right here. I'm going to use dimensionals. Three large dimensionals will hold this, or actually 4. So I'm going to put 2 on the pumpkin. will hold this in place nicely. And let's just get those off. And that's going to go right there. And then I'm going to use the glitter adhesive back gems. They have gold, silver, and black. So I'm going to use the black ones on this, and just to add a little glam. So I'm going to put one down in the corner on the front, take two small ones, and I think I'll put them on opposite sides of the trick or treat. And there you have it, our first project of the 12 days of Halloween. So when it opens, it looks like that. I could put some bling on this page too. It still will close okay. If I'm really bothered by that little extra addition of ink, I can cover it with some bling and then put some more bling down here. And then no one will know that there was an ink mark there. And there we have it. Day 1 of the 12 days of Halloween. This great double Z fold card is all set to go. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight for the first night of the 12 days of Halloween. I will be back every night for the next 11 more days. And thank you, Bonnie. And we, tomorrow night, I am going live for Simply Stamping Sunday. So I will probably go live right after Simply Stamping Sunday to do the 12 days of Halloween. Because obviously I can't be doing two things at 7 o'clock. So, and the same thing, on Friday nights I might kind of combine both and do a Halloween fun fold instead of doing a regular fun fold. So that will be what it will look like. So join me tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for Simply Stamping Sunday, and then about 7:30 for the 12 days of Halloween. I'm making a cool triangular treat box that will be really fun for you to try to make. Have a great night, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.